Oh, sure. What's that?
Hello, everybody. How are you all doing? Let me know in chat that you guys can hear me okay. Hopefully, let's make sure I am not on mute. Let me get the chat up and then, yes, beautiful. And then I'm going to drop in the chat the link to the workbook because I think some people did not receive it. So I want to make sure everybody has it. So this is going to be the workbook that we are going to, you all will have as reference for the next 3 days. While I'm adding that link to it, if you guys could in the chat, let me know where you are watching from. And if you are like me, you are staying hydrated. So what are you drinking? So let me know where you are watching from and what you are drinking. And let me move this over here so I can see. Oh, actually, I think I need to keep that over there so I can see that. And let me share my screen. All right, we've got Delaware, Phoenix, Minnesota, nothing. Alicia, you're not drinking anything. Water, lots of water. Vegas, Chicago, California, Atlanta, Springs. All right, so we've got Florida, Illinois. All right, you guys are watching from all over the place. And so we are right at about 60 people who are joining us. Puerto Rico, nice to have you, Puerto Rico. Memphis, Texas, my old stomping ground, Maryland. So let me just say, thank you for taking your Sunday out. I'm super excited. I've been ramped up all day to be hosting this with you all, and I'm so glad to be ending the year strong. And how do you guys feel about ending 2024 and starting 2025 with a good start? How do you guys feel about that? And I'm actually going to run today's session a little bit different than I normally run it. Excited, Christine? That's awesome. Great. Excited. I'm ready to kick off 2025. Excited. Ready? Awesome. So hopefully you all are all inside of the Travel Boss community. That's where we've been actually counting down since the last 8 days of December. We're counting down to 2020, counting down 2024 into 2025. So if you are not a part of that group, please join us. That's on Online Travel Boss /member. And you should have got an invite as a part of the invitation to this. We are going to continue the 3 days beyond through the end of the month. So you guys are going to hear me showing up inside of that group all month long. And so I'd love to see you all there if you are already not a part of that community. All right, so let us get started because it is Sunday evening and I want to be respectful of your time. And I am going to probably go the entire 90 minutes to talk to you guys about some critical things associated with starting or launching your travel business. And even if you've already launched, really continuing your success into 2025. So let me share my screen because did everybody get the workbook? Anyone not get the workbook? I can share the link again if you missed it. So let me make sure that I have it there and I have shared it again. All right. And then it should have, Roxanne, hopefully you did just get it. I just shared the link again. Perfect. Perfect. So we will actually be using this workbook throughout the entire 3 days. So I'm going to be here tonight, tomorrow, and Tuesday we'll wrap it up for our 3-day workshop. So let me share again. Every time I get ready to share, I get sidetracked. So let me do that here. All right, let's share my desktop. All right, can everybody see my desktop? Yes, perfect. All right. So we have people watching from all over the United States. And let me just tell you again, I'm super excited to be here with you all and for the energy that I can already feel in the room. And what I'm going to do also before I jump in because I do try and keep track of like what you guys are saying. Usually I have somebody helping me, but tonight, not so much. I will have my chat up. If you have any questions throughout this session, please feel free to just drop it in the chat and I'll be checking over to the right of me. So if you see me turn over to the right, it is because I am doing that. And let me just get one more thing up. And then I think we are good to go. All right, I think I got all my toys so I can see you guys as I go. All right, so get that set up, and then this one. All right, so I can see the chat as we go, and we can go ahead and get started. All right, so Serbia. Oh wow, Russell Renee. Nice to have you. All right, so let's get started. So before we get started, just as you know, I wanted to just let you know that throughout this challenge, I'm going to be mentioning a program by the name of Foundations. This is my 12-week program that's designed to help advisors really launch their travel business. And if you are already an existing travel advisor and you're feeling stuck, and maybe you're with a host agency and you're ready to transition, this program is going to be for you. We're not going to spend a lot of time talking about this right now, but I just wanted to set the stage that you will have an opportunity to join me starting January 6th inside of this program. We're going to do in this program, provide you a solid business foundation. So if you are hosted and you're thinking about either going to a hybrid mode or a go independent completely, there's some legal considerations that you need to have in your business. And so we're going to make sure that you're set up legally for whatever state that you're in so that you can see success, and that you're going to also learn how to set up your business structure. We're going to talk about how to streamline your operations inside of this program. And then really, I'm going to help position you for long-term growth. So we're really going to make sure that you have a good, solid marketing plan in place inside of this program. So as I mentioned, we're not going to spend a lot of time on that today. I will invite and open up the invitation later on in this challenge, but let's get started with what we're here for today. So the first thing that I want to do is really talk about what you can expect today and then over the next 3 days. Today, we're going to talk about niching. So one of the most important things that is inside of your travel business is why you are doing what you do and who it is that you help. But we're going to really talk about it from a counterintuitive way. Most people focus on places. We're going to really be talking about how we can focus on people. We're going to identify and understand what that means from your perspective. So I don't want you setting up a business that caters to the type of client that I want to work with, but really we want to set up a business for the type of client that you work with and really understand what that means. And then this is going to be an interactive session. So I'm going to talk. I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm going to ask you for feedback. And what I would recommend is that if you do have a pen and paper, that you utilize that pen and paper. You guys did register, so you will get the recording, but I usually don't send the recording until after the 3 days. So if there's something that you have a question about, do not hesitate to put that in chat. And like I said, I'll be looking over to the right of me to see if there's any questions that I can answer. All right, and then we'll end today with a Q&A. So if there's any questions about the niche perspective, we'll go over that. And then tomorrow, at the end of today's session, I'll kind of let you know what you can expect tomorrow. Before I get started, are there any questions? No? Everybody good? All right, so let's get started and talk about why clarity is key in your travel business. Why does it even matter that you have a niche? The first thing is that many times when I work with travel advisors, they just jump in. Type in the comments if you just started your travel business and you just jumped into your travel business. You were anxious to get started, so you started taking supplier training. You started telling your friends and family that you are a travel advisor and you can book their trip. Let me know if that was your story, because it certainly was my story when I started. I took about, I don't know, I'm an overachiever and I like to make lists just to check them off. So I jumped head in. And I didn't think of anything about a niche, right? So a lot of you all are replying that you just jumped in. Some of you did it slow, but a lot of you all jumped in. And I am a jumper, so I'm definitely not a serial entrepreneur. But if I have an idea, I don't really let too much dust collect. I just jump in. So when I got the opportunity to become an advisor, I was like, I'm all in. Let me do it. Right. So point me in the right direction. My upline pointed me to a bunch of training I could do, and that is how I did. So taking all the training right now, jumped in head first. And don't get me wrong, I think that the energy of jumping in definitely keeps the momentum up. But here's the problem is that when you're not clear about, because travel, just like a lot of businesses, really is a lot. Like it's not like travel is not a small industry. It's not a, okay, I'm going to sell t-shirts and all I need to do is go get some t-shirts and that's it. Even when you get a t-shirt business, you got to figure out who are you designing t-shirts for. Travel is very similar to that. Who are you going to be designing a trip for? And so without that clarity, you really do run the risk of becoming burnt out and spending a lot of wasted time on activities that are not important to really getting you clients, or maybe wasting time on giving quotes to people who really aren't the type of client that you really ultimately work with. But when you have clarity, you really can build trust because you know who it is that you're working with. You can create demand for your travel services and position yourself as the person that people will seek out when you start from the person. And so we're really going to talk about that. But before we get started, I'm going to have you guys take a poll. And you guys should have all received this poll. And the first question is, what's your biggest challenge in defining your business focus? So select one of those, and I'm going to tell you based on the number of people who are attending what you guys are saying. And let me see how many people we've got now on inside of our, let's see if I can see that. We've got almost 100 people. So the results of that should be pretty good. I'm going to give you guys just a couple more seconds to take that so we can see how it's going. All right, 5, 4. We've got about 58 people have taken it. So we've got about 60% of the people taking it. I'd like to get us to at least 70%. So just if you haven't taken the poll, it should have popped up. If you're in Zoom, it should have popped up. All right, we are right there at just one more person and we will hit 70. We're at 69%. All right, perfect. All right, I'm going to end the poll and then I'm going to share the results and let you guys know what we're looking at. So we have about 54% of you all that took the poll that say you don't know how to stand out in the marketplace, which is, let me tell you, is pretty standard. You start this business, and if you were recruited like me, you were probably told all you have to do is talk to your friends and family. Tell everyone that you're a travel advisor, and that's going to, or you're a travel agent, right? I try not to call us travel agents because I think that we are way more than agents, and we'll talk a lot about that over the next 3 days. But is that kind of this same story where you told, just post on social media and let people know that you're a travel advisor, join Facebook groups, and that will help you get clients. And although that seems like great advice 5, 6, 7 years ago, not so much now. And the reason that is because everybody, particularly post-COVID, everybody wants to travel. And there are so many, and if you are a part of any of the MLM travel host agencies that are recruiting, they are recruiting thousands of people every single month. And so it becomes very difficult if you don't have a strategy to stand out, to be that go-to person. And frankly, in this market, you want to stand out. You don't want to be just like Expedia.com or Priceline.com or any of the online services, or frankly, even Google. And with the interjection of AI, you also want to be able to stand out and be even better than what someone could do for themselves. And so it's not surprising to me that 54% of you all don't really understand how to do it, because this is not stuff that a lot of people talk about. They really just say, go do some regular schmegular kind of stuff in order to be seen. And that isn't going to guarantee you success. So what we want to do is really start with the most important part of your business, which is traditional niches are focused on things. They're focused on, and many of you all, if I were to ask you, which I will in just a minute, what your niche is, you'll tell me that it's cruises or all-inclusive or luxury trips. But what happens when you're focused on things is destinations are saturated. They're everywhere. Your suppliers are even competing with you on destinations. So that makes it very difficult. You probably don't have a multi-million-dollar marketing budget. You are one person. Most of you probably are working full-time jobs. And so standing out, your ability to stand out is even more critical than somebody who is focused on destinations, because you need to be able to make sure that your message clicks immediately with the people that you want it to click with. And so my solution has been, since I've been a coach, has been not to focus on things, not to focus on destinations or a mode of transportation, but really focus on the thing that does the buying, which is people. We want to focus on our clients. And I am a firm believer, I've been saying this for years, that if you focus on people, you can take them anywhere in the world you want to take them. So if you focus on a type of client that you want to service or that you want to expend your marketing efforts on, you can decide to take them to Dubai, on a cruise, to Jamaica, wherever your destination desires are, if you really focus on people. So I'm going to do the next, I'm going to ask you guys another question now. And so I can get a feel for, see if I can get this back. This is the first time I've ever done polls live. So here's the next poll that I have for you, which is, when you think about your travel business, for those of you who are not brand spanking new, what is it that you focus on? Do you focus on destinations or do you focus on people? Let me know in comments. Perfect. You guys are doing great. We're about 50% of the people in attendance have taken it. And so what I want you to think about is not what you do, what you want to do, but what are you currently doing? When you think about, when you post on social media, what are you talking about? Are you talking to a person, or are you talking about a particular destination or a mode of transportation? And when I say mode, I'm talking about cruises, all-inclusive, that type of stuff. All right, perfect. We are at 70%, and this is the result. So we're about neck and neck. 45% of you all say that you focus on destination, and another 55% of you all say that you focus on people, which is great. However, what I will tell you is even if you're focused on people and you're only focused on demographics, we still want to dig a little bit, actually a lot more deeper than that. And so what we're going to do is, I'm going to tell you, the majority of travel advisors that I start working with, they're in this same spot. They're focused on, they're focused on really what the host agency wants you to be focused on, which is different types of suppliers, different destinations, so that you can sell more resorts or more properties or more activities. They're really not talking to you about creating a brand or a specialty around you helping a very specific type of person. And so when I say type of people, a lot of people are like, well, what does that mean? Like, what do you mean type of people? I want people who have money, which we all want people who have money, but we want a little bit more information about the people that we want to work with specifically. So let's talk about what that framework looks like, because there is a framework for how you do that. And the first part of that is really making sure that we are focused on people and not places. And so I'm really going to ask you guys to step a little bit outside of your comfort zone and ask yourself, who is it that you sell to? Who is it that you want to service? So when you think about a person that submits a travel request or goes on your group trip, who is that person? What is that person? What is it that they do? What are they thinking about? What's important to them? What do they need? Right? And so I want you to think a little bit and go a little bit deeper than, I just want somebody who has money. I want somebody who doesn't, who knows where they want to go. I want somebody, like, again, I want you to go a little bit deeper than that. But I want you to think about the people that you've worked with that you really loved. What was the common thread about those people that you've worked with that you really loved? You can type in the comments. I'd love to see what some of you guys are coming up with. Step two is, so really, before I go to step two, is really, it's about the person or the set of people. And when it comes to a niche, I want you to think about what are the things that make them in common. So let me give you an example. So one of my clients, we're doing a poll. We actually, we've been all inside of the group this week. I think day one was about what your niche is. And so one of a previous student of mine, she's taken some of my classes. Her niche is really around people that golf. That's very specific. So she's looking to work with people that enjoy golf, and she's going to take them on international golf trips. That's an amazing niche, right? It's very specific around who it is that she wants to work with. It's specific about the destination. You know, I mean, implied in there is destination, but that her people are going to go on international trips where golfing is happening, right? There's no ambiguity there. So when it comes to picking people, a group of people that have something in common really is the thing that will keep that group, particularly if you start a Facebook group, will keep them bounded, is because they have a common interest. So when I say people versus places, that's what I want you to be thinking about. What's the common element about the set of people that you want to work with that's going to keep that glue together? Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. All right, okay, so some of you guys have said retirees, that's good. Family, like to focus on multi-generational travel. So cultural and historical, that again is a type of travel, that's not people. So what I'm looking for, Christina, is the people that want to go on these types of trips, the people that you want to target that will go on these types of trips. Does that make sense? So again, we're not focused on the mode or what they're going to be doing when they get there. We're focused on the type of people that we want to talk to get on the types of trips we want to host or design. All right, military buddies, love that. Special needs travelers, love that. Friends group is broad. Couples is very broad as well, although couples assumes two people, but all it takes is two people to make a couple. So we want to get a little bit more specific than that. All right, girlfriend, travel, yes, but what is unique, Karen, about the girlfriends? Like, what about the girlfriends? Are they busy professional girlfriends? Are they single girlfriends? What about the girlfriends? So again, we want to be specific. So retirees is good because we know that they used to work and now they don't. But what type of retirees? Is it professional retirees? Retirees is good, but definitely if you can get a little bit more specific than that, that would be great. All right, going to step two. Understanding who your ideal clients. We're going to do a mini exercise here. What I want you to do is what's referred to as an empathy map. We want to understand what they're thinking and they're feeling. What are they worried about when it comes to planning their travel? Based on the types of clients that you are saying that you want to work with, What are they feeling about planning their own travel? What's going on? Why can't they? And one of the questions that I always ask my clients is, why can't they get themselves out of town? What's preventing them from traveling now that they can't do it themselves, or they haven't done the trip or trips that they want to do? What is the thing that's preventing them from doing that? The other empathy is see, what are they seeing in the media or on social media or platforms about the type of travel that they would like to go on? What is it that they are observing? Where are they looking to get their travel information from? The next thing in the empathy map I want you to really think about is here. What type of advice or concerns are they hearing from friends and family? So let's, another client of mine, she is doing her specialty is working with church leaders on doing holy trips. And so one of the concerns that I would assume that they would be responsible for is because Israel is part of the Holy Land. There's a war going on in that part of the world, right? So when I would show up and I would talk about that, some of their concerns may be associated with what's going on in that part of the world. So what are they hearing about the destinations potentially that they want to go on, or the experiences that they want to go on? What are they hearing? The last part of the question that you want to ask yourself is say or do. What are they saying about their own travel plans? What are they saying consistently? Is it that they want to go or they don't have the time to go? What are the consistent words that they are probably using when it comes to their desired trip or trips that they like, that they would like to do again? All right, I'm going to just give you guys, so here's an example. I want you to really take a couple of minutes. I'm going to give you guys some time, and I want you to think about these questions that I just posed for you, and then come up with the answers, and then we'll talk about it. So I'm going to give you guys, I should have, I think I've done a timer before. I think, let me see if I can find a timer. I did a timer one time, and uh, and when I did the timer and I put it on YouTube, YouTube banned me and said that it was not a proprietary timer. So I'm going to do a 3-minute timer. I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes to work on this, and then let me know if you have any questions. So let me do that again. It's 3 minutes, not 5 minutes. I should have had this ready, but all right, perfect. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start, and then let me share the questions again so that you can see them. So what you're going, and let me make this bigger if you got any eyes like me. All right, can everybody see that? What you want to do is you want to create a map, answer these questions about your ideal client, identify what they're thinking, feeling, seeing, hearing, and doing or saying about the trips that they want to go on. I over here will keep track of the time. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to just give them to me. Can't see my timer. I see it somewhere. My timer. Oh, there it is. Okay, I got it. I found it. I'm gonna put it right here just so you guys can see it too. We're almost done. All right, got about 10 more seconds for you guys to answer. Perfect. Cassandra, thanks for your response. They're thinking about different destinations. They see people traveling frequently on social media. Perfect. All right. I'm going to give you guys this poll question, which is, what do you think your ideals struggle with the most? Budgeting, finding options, feeling overwhelmed, finding trusted advice to guide them. Let me know what you guys think. And when we get to about 70%, I'll give you guys the results of that. Yolanda, that's a good one. So Yolanda wrote that one of the concerns that people have is that they talk about going and they don't. And so, I know a lot of people who focus on the girlfriend space, that's one of the biggest complaints with girlfriend travel and that's why solo travel, or like specializing in solo travel with women, is really great idea. Compare prices with ads on social media. They don't get out. Lovely. We're almost at 70%. Just need a few more people to take the poll. Let me read some of the answers. Safety and other people's, this is Jordan. So thank you, Jordan, for putting your comments in. Safety and other people's reactions. They aren't sure if IG destinations is worth Instagram destinations. Me and another travel advisor have been calling the Instagram worthy trips, which is, it's great if that's the type of client, but you need to know that that's the type of client that you're looking for. If you're working with clients who aren't just looking for the pictures, but actually the experience, it's important that you understand that about your client. So I love it. All right, so we are right at 70. So let me go ahead and end this. And so 48% of you all said that your ideal client is thinking about budgeting for their trips. Then the next one is finding options that fit their lifestyle or preferences. That's really telling in terms of budgeting. And so my suspicion, however, is that what you think that they're thinking, or is that based on you actually having done market research on your clients to determine if that's their number one concern? And the reason why I say that, because I think as humans, right, particularly in an economy that's like this, is that that's maybe something that you're concerned about, but is everybody concerned about? Travel is a luxury. It's not a necessity. So getting your hair cut, that's a necessity, right? I got to get a haircut. I got to go to the doctor. I got to get groceries. I got to buy gas, but I don't have to travel. It's not a necessary thing in our lives to do. So when people say that the money is their concern, it's really not, believe it or not, it's not their concern, because again, travel is a nice to have. It's not necessary. So you as a travel advisor, if you're feeling like you're getting that as the response, then it's even more important that you differentiate yourself from Expedia or online travel advisor or agents, because that's what OTAs are. They're really delivering here's what you asked for, this is what I'm going to give you. And as an advisor in 2024, 2025, that's not what you should be delivering. You should not be delivering orders. And if you feel like you are, and that's the response that you get, there really is going to be a lot more that you need to do to not only be identified in the marketplace, but really set yourself apart in terms of the way that you design trips. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense for everybody, because this is, what I want you to think of yourself as is a specialist, right? You are a specialist that has I love Liam Nielsen, I think is his name, who is the what's the guy? He goes and I've got a special set of skills to find you, right? What was that movie? Take it. And so that is exactly what you are. You have a special set of skills that if you are positioning those skills properly and you're honing those skills properly, you really aren't somebody who is a generalist that can be matched online or is creating experiences that can be discovered through doing a simple Google search. Does that make sense? And if you are designing those trips and you want more for your travel business, this exercise that we did is even more important for you long term, is making sure that you really intimately understand what your clients are, what are keeping them up at night. And I'm going to guarantee you, even though the majority of you all said it's budget, that's not what it is. Okay, because again, we are not in a business where we have services and products that is a requirement for life. Although we think it is, it's really not though, right? So people make a conscious choice to go and travel. They make a conscious choice to go on an experience. And as an advisor, it's up to you, if based on who you want to work with, that you are creating a reason for them to go with you, not just the experience design alone. Does that make sense? So hopefully that's clicking for everyone. All right, so great job, everyone. So step 3 is really around you mapping your strengths to their needs. How many of you all out there, I'm not going to do a poll, but I would like to know how many of you guys are working a full-time job right now? So out of the number of people, I just want to get a feel. How many of you guys have a full-time job and you're doing this part-time? Right? Okay, so I'm getting a lot of me's. All right, so what that means is that you have a unique set of strengths that you're working from. You get reviews from a boss. You get, and again, you may hate your boss. So that's really not, this is not around you hating your silent investor or not, but you have a set of strengths right now that make you uniquely who you are. Good at what you do in your full-time employment, good at what you do in terms of interacting with people. And you probably don't even think of those skills or those strengths as assets for you in terms of your travel business, and they are. And so step 3 is really mapping your strengths to this business. And so I'm going to give you an example. My previous background was I'm a certified project manager. I am super techie. I love all things technology. I could geek out for you on a million ways to one on how to use AI and everything that has to do with technology. What makes me good at being a travel advisor is I am meticulous around. Let me even back up, because I was going to go the technical route, but really what makes me good is my business analyst skills. Is I know how to ask questions to get somebody to answer the things that they didn't even think about. So when I interview somebody in a fit, I am pulling out of them information that they wouldn't necessarily put on a form, that they wouldn't necessarily even think about when it comes to their trip. Does that make sense? That's my superpower. Like I was a debater in high school. Like I could interview like nobody's business. So that strength helps me identify people's requirements better than any other strength that I've ever had. Does that make sense? So like that is when I talk about what your strengths are. That's what you really need to be pulling out. That is what's going to make you set yourself apart from the other 99 other people that are on this this training today alone, is because you are uniquely you. There is nobody in the world that is like you. And so if you don't know what your strengths are, that is going to be your homework, is really being able to articulate why you're the bomb.com. And I'm not even talking about the bomb.com as it relates to the travel. I'm just talking about what makes you you. Does that make sense to everybody? Like, hopefully that does, because that one is really, I didn't even share the results, but here are the results. So 48% of you all said budgeting, but like I mentioned, I don't believe that even though that's what you believe, that's really not the crux of why people, what's on their mind. Money is important. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to indicate that it's not. but that is not what's keeping them up at night, because travel is not something that they have to do. So what's keeping them from being able to travel is something outside of just money alone. All right, so perfect. It does make sense. All right, so let's now do a activity, because now what I want to do is I want you guys to really think about the pain points that your client may be going through, what's their needs and what their dream vacations are. So I've got this example, and I actually have a prompt, and we are actually doing good on time. So if you guys have the workbook, I believe that the prompt is in the bonus section, but I'm also going to paste the prompt as well, so that you can actually use it. I'm going to give us about 5 minutes to do this, but what we're going to do is let's just pretend Sarah, and we're going to use the same ideal client. So I want to explain to you how this works. Is we want to identify what Sarah is really thinking about. So let's say Sarah is, let's see, what did I put in the prompt here? Let's say that Sarah is a busy mom seeking affordable, stress-free family vacations with her children. So she has children, she wants to find an affordable vacation, and she wants to be stress-free. So what I've done, because I did tell you that my other superpower is technology. So I have created an AI prompt. How many of you guys, before I ask how many are familiar, who out there is not using AI? Because if you're not using AI, that's okay. I will show you in example what this looks like. So we have a few people. All right. We have less people than we do who are. So most of you all out here are familiar with AI, and you've at least dabbled in it, right? Is that fair? Somebody says, I don't understand it a little bit, but we do have a few, right? But it's not the majority of you. I call her Stella. Mine is Sienna. So nice to, is it Michael? Is it Michael? I love AI, use it daily, dabble, Word. All right. So, but for the majority of you guys are familiar, there are a few of you that are not. So the ones that are not familiar with AI and you're not interacting with AI, that's okay. You watch what I'm doing. For those of you are familiar with AI, go bring up your AI tool of choice, and I'm going to give you this prompt to use, and then I'm going to actually walk you through what it's going to do for you. So I'm going to copy this prompt here. It's also here. If you go to the workbook at the end of day 1, here it says bonus prompt, ideal client prompt. It's also there as well. Okay, so if you downloaded it earlier, just go back, go open it in the link that I gave you, and then do it here. Here is the prompt. I put that in chat, and then I'm going to actually, oops, I just sent it to one person, so let me send it to everyone. Oh, it is too long for me to put. It is 107 words too long. So let me, and you need all 107 words. So let me put the link to the prompt right here for you all so you can open it. And for those who don't know anything about AI, no worries. You can watch me do it and you can see what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to encourage you to learn about AI, because my whole goal in life is to get as many advisors using AI as possible. So that's the link to this document. It's also in your workbook as well. And now I'm going to demo it for you all so you guys can see what it does and how it works. Okay. All right. So for those who aren't using AI, there are a couple of softwares, AI, conversational AIs that you can use. ChatGPT is my go-to place. And if you're interested in using ChatGPT, you'll just go to this link to get it. You'll need to, I wouldn't do it now because you're going to need to sign up for it, and there's a bunch of things that you need to do. So don't go ahead and do that now if you're not using AI, but just have that and save that for yourself later. What we're going to do now is, for those of you all who are familiar with AI, and here's the prompt, and I'm just going to tell you how you use it. So you're just going to copy the prompt into, I use Claude and ChatGPT and Perplexity. So I'm going to just use ChatGPT and I'm going to paste the prompt here. At the end of the prompt, there is an equal sign. And so in this equal sign, that's where you're going to write your person, the type of people that you want to work with. So whoever that may be. So in the example that I gave you all, I said that I wanted to work with, let me get this open twice. I said that I wanted to work with busy moms seeking affordable stress. So I'm just going to copy that here and put it right after the equal sign. And what's going to happen is the way that this prompt is written, it's going to give you a set of results that are going to help summarize who your ideal client is. It's going to include some pain points, challenges. I'm going to go through the results of what it's going to find. So the first thing is that you've provided the who, right? No, no AI can tell you who you want to work with. Out of all the things that you get to decide in your business, who you interact with is the number one thing that is, right? And so the more descriptive you can be around that. So like if you just say, I'm looking for somebody who's open to travel, that's not very descriptive, right? If you say, I'm looking for someone who knows how to make up their mind, that's not really descriptive, right? So the fact that I've identified that I want to work with busy moms who have young children who are interested in family activities, that gives ChatGPT and or an AI enough meat to go out there in its model and based on all of its training, go out there to help pull for you some information and articulate that in a way that you may not have thought about. Does that make sense? I'm glad that you like it, Micah. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. I didn't get the workbook. I just put the workbook in the chat. Princess, did you get it? Let me know, Princess, if you didn't get it. I'll put the link to the workbook. Yeah, and Dorothy is correct. The more details you give it, the better. But here's the deal. You don't know what details to give it. That's the reason why I want to have this conversation with you. I don't necessarily need you to figure out the pain points. I just want you to think about the people that you want to work with. So if you are a person who said, I want to just do cruises and you've never thought about the people, this is where you need to take that time and think about who do you want to take on cruises? Because it's not everybody, right? If like it, and let me rephrase it. Maybe you've been thinking that it's everybody. Now I'm asking you to go beyond that. When you think about the people that have gone on cruises with you or the people that you've worked with, who is it that you would like to take out on cruises? Is it someone that's like you? Oftentimes people start with themselves. They start with, well, you know, I'm an African-American woman in my 50s who's about to be an empty nester. So that's who I want to work with. If that's who you are, then that's what you put in after the equal sign. Does that make sense? So the more specific you can be in terms of who it is that you think you want to work with, the better. Again, I'm not focused on cruises, all-inclusive, Jamaica, or whatever destination. We're talking about the people. All right, so Renee, I'm glad that you like it. You said that the prompt is awesome, given that I asked the question in my environment, also brought in what it already knows about my business and guests. Love it. Thank you. I'm glad that you like it. So let's go through what the output and the kinds of information that you are going to find in the result. It's going to give you a summary based on what you said about the after the equal sign about your ideal client. It's going to give you some common pain points and challenges that your persons are most likely encountering based on the type of person that they are, right? So I put a busy mom, and so she's got limited time for planning and research. She's got budget restrictions, right? So this falls in the 48% of you who say that budget is a concern. Concerns about safety and kid-friendly activities, overwhelmed by the sheer number of travel options. And so this is a thing that I want to really highlight for you all when it comes to this sentence here. The internet exists. However, we no longer, I was talking to somebody the other day and I was telling them that, what if somebody can't they go on the internet and find the answers to their questions? Absolutely, they can. The problem is when you Google something right now, and frankly, even if when you use AI, the sheer volume of stuff that you get back is overwhelming to most people. What social media and the internet has done for us is we are now high demand results. Like we want instantaneous information, and the internet gives you too much information. So your value as an advisor is the fact that you can aggregate and present that information in a way that allows people to make quick decisions. That is one of your superpowers if you hadn't thought of it that way. So it's super important that you understand that the internet is not your competition. The internet is the fuel to help get you more clients because it's overwhelming. The amount of data that people consume, the amount of data that's coming at people through social media alone is overwhelming. Okay. So it's just really important to remember that. So this overwhelmed by the sheer number of travel options, you will probably find is a common theme with a lot of people, is it's just so much. It's too much. And so this is, again, aimed at for you identifying the pain points and challenge. These are going to be common. These are not sort of a diamond in the rough types. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit of some of the things that you can do to find those relating to their specific needs. This is how you as an advisor can relate to them based on what it is that they are struggling with, right? So based on the fact that they're these bullet points up here, these are what you can do as an advisor to help set you apart and address their needs specifically. And then one of the things that I did is because I love working with you all is that I helped give you some niche experience ideas that you can start to think about crafting when it comes to your marketing, putting together group trips. Actually, the theme of those group trips, that's really what these experiences are really built around. And then these are about your services. So the types of services that you could create to help cater to your specific ideal client. All right, so this is a part of a series of prompts that I've done. So hopefully you all, when you're done with this training, that you'll play with this. But again, the objective here, and this is just a table that sort of summarizes all of that information. Okay. All right, any questions on this? Let me look at the comments. You are, Jackie says, I'm overwhelmed by the number of, as a designer, I'm sure you all are also overwhelmed by the sheer volume of choices and what to pick, right? So that, all right. So for those of you all that actually tested out the prompt, what were some of the, did you find any pain points or challenges that you hadn't thought of before? Yes. Yes, good. Just because I am who I am, I'm going to give you one additional thing to do with this prompt. For those of you that are a little prompt savvy, is I want you to ask at the conclusion of you getting your things is I'm going to just tell you sort of my geekish way of interacting with my Sienna is I always think Sienna, because I am a Terminator believer, so I never want to be the the one that the prompt is like she cussed at me all the time, off with her lights or something like that. So I always thank my ChatGPT for its hard work, and then I tell it it's great or whatever the next thing is. But what I'm going to just ask you to do is, can you provide me, this is my new sort of intuitive points. The reason why I say counterintuitive is because, again, I want to set myself apart from what is naturally already happening, right? So the internet travel advisors across the world and all those travel advisors who didn't sign up for this training, who didn't have the opportunity to hear me talk, are probably getting some answers that are similar, right? But what I want you to do is think of yourself as a thought leader. You are somebody you are not doing what everybody else is doing. So what I always challenge my GBT conversations, I always have a very strong opinion about a thing, right? I believe XYZ. And so I'll ask it to confirm that, or what's the word out there on the internet streets. And what I'm telling you, when you use the word counterintuitive, pain points and challenges, is you're asking ChatGPT and or AI to go outside of what the norm is. Go outside and stretch your response bigger than what is the common thread. It's not that I want you to design solutions for outliers, but what it will do is allow you to get responses that aren't just sort of the run of the mill type of responses. Hopefully that helps too. So let's see what it says. Here's some counterintuitive pain points that this ideal client may have. And I don't know why the marker is doing that. I think it has to do something with the way that I shared this, but here is too many kid-centric options. Moms feel pressure to focus exclusively on their kids, leaving them room for their own right? That's a really good one, right? Because I have kids, I had young kids, but when I go on vacation, I want to enjoy the vacation as well. And so I don't want it to just be where I'm running around in Disney World. And this is the reason why I never went to Disney World, because I never just wanted it to be that, because I want to be able to relax as well. So I think that's a really good one. Guilt over taking easy options. They may feel guilty about choosing pre-packaged vacations or resorts, worrying about this. So if this is something that your ideal client is worried about, when you're talking to that client, you want to address it. You want to create that conversation with the client so that you can dispel it. That makes them think that you're in their head. And they're going to be like, she gets me. He gets me. He understands what I'm concerned about. Oversaturation of budget-friendly choices. Endless recommendations of affordable travel analysis paralysis, right? So again, when I mentioned that there are too many options in the world for people to do, people have decision fatigue. There's so many decisions that people have to make every single day, and you as an advisor give them 100,000 more choices. That does not make their life easier. So frankly, when I give design trips, I don't do 3, 4, 5 options, right? I've interviewed you and I give you one option, and unless there's something that's dramatically wrong, that design discovery call that I do really nails it. And so I'm not giving you a bunch of options because I want you to be able to make a decision. The pressure for creating picture perfect Instagram moments, right? That is another counterintuitive. So again, I could go through all of these and tell you the reasons why I love all of them, but the idea is for you not to just take at face value what AI has to say, but really get it to stretch its response to you by giving you things that are not regular run of the mill. Does that make sense? Hopefully that's helpful to you all. All right, so Cassandra says, over planning leads to burnout. Absolutely. Surprising insight. Sometimes doing less creates some more enjoy. I can't agree with it. I can't agree with that bullet more. And you guys are also giving me some great bullets that it gave you. Yes. So, I would say 10 years ago, I was like, the more activities, the better, right? Like I want from day 1 to day 7, there to be something going on every day. That was 10 years ago. I was in my 40s. Now I'm in my 50s. I'm like, now I want maybe 1 or 2 activities, and I want some Mai Tais in between. I want some beach, time in between. Again, so my needs as a traveler has changed because I don't want to be ripping and racing because I'm ripping and racing all day long. What are the needs of your travelers, right? So, I used to design from the perspective of I want them to be busy all the time. But now when I'm interviewing and asking questions, it's really what type of activity level do you want to have, right? Because I can design according to whatever that is, making sure that you're clear about that too. So the ideal client is really you making sure that you understand that. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of you all right now are struggling with this, not because you hate the concept. You probably think that you're going to lose some money. I want to work with all these people. I don't want to lose any money at the table. So let's talk a little bit about what that potentially looks like. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to move now. Before I go, let me make sure I didn't miss any questions. And let me just do a gut check. How's everybody feeling? Like, how do you guys feel about what you guys are hearing and are seeing, and also what you can do with ChatGPT? For those of you who don't know, don't use AI, or haven't touched it at all, you're struggling with it, a good prompt is going to be all the difference in the world. And working with me, this is what my goal is. It's not to just to set you into a blank GPT and hope you figure it out, is really to help give you prompts that are really going to get you some results. All right, good. You guys are saying that you like it. It's great information. Love it. Lovely. Awesome. All right. So let's talk about some of the things that may be going on in your head right now, in terms of focusing on people and not things. Let me tell you, I did it, so I get it. I understand. There's comfort, right? If I go and I become a Jamaica specialist, there's comfort in me learning about Jamaica, understanding all that there is about Jamaica, going and becoming a PhD in Royal Caribbean's, ship itinerary, getting those certifications from the suppliers. There's comfort in that, right? Because it's actionable. I can go and I can go take that training, and then I can learn about that thing. It's much harder to learn about people, right? But if you expend the effort on learning about people, every single thing that you do in your travel business will be so much easier to do, because the suppliers that you go after, the marketing that you do, all that you do will be focused around the people. Not to say that you won't work with other people, but your concerted, targeted effort will be around the people, and it will just make your life a whole lot easier as a result. All right, so this is the fear number one. I want to narrow my focus, and I don't want to lose potential clients. Let me tell you, I get this as the number one resistance to niching by person. You want to not leave any money on the table. I want to work with everybody who will work with me. However, once your current immediate well of people that you know runs dry, how are you going to attract new people? Is the first question I would ask you. Is if you have worked through all your friends and family, they've all given you referrals, and you don't have any new business, you've got to have a way to get new business if you want to stay into business, right? If you're working part-time and you only get a few hours a day, and you only have 10 hours, and you're not really interested in growing, you may never have this issue. But if you are trying to grow your business and you are trying to scale, you need a way to get in front of who it is that you work with. And having a generic, I want to sell cruises, isn't going to necessarily get you there. It's not also going to get you noticed. And so what I will tell you is the more that you can narrow down. So we're taught, particularly in the environment that we're in, we should include as many people and everybody as we can. But when it comes to marketing, the box stands true, which is you need to draw a box around the type of person. And I'm not talking about, ethnicity or cultural, but if that's what you want to do, then do it, right? But what I am saying is you need to draw a box around the type of people that you want to work with, because the more that's defined, the easier it is for you to talk to them, relate to them. So when you do offer them a opt-in offer, a package, or an invitation, they can say, that's me. Right. So when you think about this busy mom, Sarah, that I was just talking to you about, and I talked to her, and one of her concerns is she wants to also be on vacation too. Right. And I'm not just talking about budget concerns, but I'm talking about how mommy's stressed out. You get to enjoy yourself too. And here are the 5 reasons why. And maybe I create an offer that's built around how you can also relax while your kids have a good time in a safe environment, how that would connect with her. Right. So the people are so important. when it comes to, narrowing your focus and losing potential clients, believe it or not, niching by person exposes you to more clients because, again, you're after that particular target in your marketing. Now, if your girlfriend calls you up and says she wants to go to Europe and you want to do that trip, you can do it. Nobody's stopping you. But again, what it's going to allow us to do is make sure that the brand, the marketing, our show up game on social media, the way that we write, the way that we talk is speaking to that ideal client. Make sense? All right, fear number 2 that I get a lot is, what if I want to work with different types of clients, right? I think somebody just said that they want to work with single people and destination weddings, right? So that's single people and then people who want to get married in unusual places. You can do that. You just need to build personas directly for them, and you need to create specific marketing and target it for them. Don't try and create one post that's catered to both of them and hope that it sticks. What if you aren't going to focus on one client? And my recommendation, particularly for those that are new in the business, is pick a type of client, focus on them for 12 to 18 months, build it out, then expand to the next one. So make sure that you're like it literally, I've been working with advisors for almost 10 years now, and I still continue to hone that ideal market. You advisors come in all shapes and sizes of journeys and different things. And so who I want to work with even gets refined year over year. So when it comes to you picking different types of clients to work with, to be able to build a strong business around a particular mode, it does take time. So making sure that if you want to, you're really strong on doing 2, make sure that you're building a business that's going to be able to speak to both of them. All right, the next one is fear 3. I'm not ready to commit to a niche. I want to stick with my destinations. And I say, no problem. If that's what you want to do, that's great. However, if you just were to add just the client focus to that specific destination, that's going to take you a long, long way. What I would tell you is most important for you right now is to gain clarity on what narrowing down your focus is going to do for you. Just by virtue of having a prompt that narrows down just the way that you interact with AI is a perfect example of how having a narrow focus can be more beneficial to you. So when you focus on a person and not necessarily, don't get me wrong. And so there is a little bit of a nuance here. It's not that you can't define the types of experiences that you want. If you want to focus on all-inclusive and cruising as the way that you deliver experiences, you can. But when it comes to who that you're going to be talking to, you got to be talking to that person that's going to buy that experience, right? So it's so important that the niche has got to be bigger than the type of travel that you want to do and the location of what you want to do, because those things don't buy, people buy. Right. And so trying to marry those things and hope it fits to a unique audience is like throwing spaghetti on the wall, hoping that it's going to stick with somebody. But if you start at the gate and you want to work with moms who are busy, who have young children, who are budget conscious, and your language and the way that you talk about them and to them is specific to them, you can take them on a cruise. You can take them to an all-inclusive resort of your choice. Does that make sense? So when you're trying to win the award for resort A, and that's all you recommend, you can do that. Okay. All right. I'm missing some questions here. So let me make sure I don't. Which ones are my preferences? Latrice, I didn't catch what you were referring to. So if you could just tell me. Jordan, I don't find my agency to be more expensive than people looking themselves with suppliers or travel sites. Hold on, maybe there's, oh, no, I'm sorry. I think everyone's responding to Latrice. So let me search engines. All right, so let me start from the top. Latrice, not sure if this will be part of this room, but I'm curious to know what search engines use to do pricing. I always feel like, yeah, so we will be going over this. We'll be going over this in day 3. So you'll be surprised that I'm not so concerned about pricing in terms of of the price that I'm going to be displaying with my client as much as I am concerned about it from a costing. So we will be going over that in day 3. All right, and then Micah says, is there a good place to learn more about how to use or what to use as prompts, like coding, but everything we need? Yes. So I've done some ChatGPT training inside of my programs. Let me rephrase it. So there's what's called prompt engineering. So designing the prompt so that it gets you the types of results. I haven't done a training like that. I will do a training like that. It will most likely be in first quarter that will tell you the types of prompt, like what do you need, what's the anatomy of a prompt and what needs to be included in there. So Micah, you want to look out for that in first quarter. So, but what I do inside of the classes, the master classes and the programs that we do is I give you guys the prompts so that you can be really focused on getting the results and taking actions out of the results. Because unless you're really a geek like me, you probably, and maybe you are a geek like me and you do want to know all about the engineering, what I find is people just really want the results of what it is that you need. Because really what you need now is this ideal client. You need that to then create the marketing plans. You need that to then create the next steps. So most people are more concerned about the output and making sure that they're using ChatGPT to get the output that they're looking for. But certainly I will be doing a class on creating the prompts. Yes. So if you registered for this, you will get the recording. And so for you all, yes, thank you. Thank you, Jordan. Yes, they will be recorded and you did get to receive the prompt. It's also in the workbook. And if you didn't get the workbook, let me give it to you again. I'll be giving you guys the workbook every day this week so that you have it because actually, you know what? I think I've been giving you the wrong thing. I think I may have been giving you the notes for today. Let me give you the workbook. Here is the workbook. Do that for everyone and then let me continue where we are. That is the workbook for what we are going through. And then, all right, so hopefully what I'd love to know now is how do you guys feel about your ideal client? Do you feel like you can go and get, so I'm going to give you your last poll here and let me know how you feel about your focus after today's session. Do you feel like you can get headed on your, defining out who your ideal client is, refining it? Perfect, Dorothy. Micah, I get it. I am the geek as well, so I get it. Yes, I will be doing a class for the geeks in the geeks in the room. Perfect. We're almost at 60%. So just if a few more of you all can take the poll. Perfect, Jordan. That's great to hear. So Jordan says that she thought she knew her ideal client, but learned something new about them tonight. That's awesome. Tanya, awesome. Good. This is what I will tell you all is that this is probably the most overlooked step inside of starting your travel business. Most people don't do the ideal client work, and when they do it, they do it very surface level. They're focused on demographics only. They don't dig any deeper than age, rank, and serial number is what I call it, and they don't really look at the other underlying information about people that really helps them make decisions about their buying, the experiences that they want, who potentially they will work with. And believe it or not, money is not the only thing. And that's the one thing that I would love for you all to walk out of today's session. So we're at 60%. So just a few more people. So someone wrote that the ideal client is deeper than what I've seen. You're welcome, Angela. It is. It's so much deeper. And particularly if you are a user of AI, having a well-rounded ideal client is really going to help you on the output that you utilize with AI to move forward. All right. So I'm going to end, and so 62% of you all say that you're somewhat confident, you have clarity, but you need more guidance. And that is okay, because we will continue to have this conversation throughout the challenge to help get you with that guidance that you need. And so what's next for you all is I want you to go back, take a look at the prompt. If you did start the prompt, is ask more questions, more clarifying questions, right? Remember the empathy map in terms of what it is that you want to find out. You're not just looking for pain points and challenges. You want to ask the question, why can't they get themselves out of town? What's preventing them from doing that? Write down your one big takeaway from today. What clicked for you, and how are you going to use it in your travel business? And then what I'd love for you all to do is to bring your refined persona. If you'd like, you can bring it inside of our Travel Boss community. You can tag my name on it, and I will take a look at it, and I'll give you any feedback. I take a look at all the posts that my name is tagged on inside of our community. So tomorrow, once you've got your ideal client, we have a guest speaker who's going to be coming to you, and she's going to be talking to you about how you can actually connect with them, right? So how do you have conversations with them that are meaningful, and simple ways for you to build trust and guide them towards booking with confidence? I'm super excited to be having Shay Boston join us tomorrow. So we're going to take that ideal client, and we're going to talk more about how you can have that are going to really move them to the next level. For those of you who want more guidance, you want to take a look at what we'll be releasing inside of Business Foundations, because what I do inside of that program is really to help get you set up the right way, simplify not only the entire operations of your travel business, but this first step. So getting the ideal client nailed down, the market research in terms of your competitors and what they're doing in the marketplace, really taking it to the next level. And then after you know who your ideal client, we want to get in front of them consistently. So what's the process by which we do that? And we'll take care of that inside of Business Foundations. Before you go, I just ask one thing. When you leave this training tonight, there's going to be a survey. So if you can complete that survey is really going to give me an idea of how this training. This is the first time I've done polls, so I really would like to get your feedback in terms of how this training content clicked with you. Was it helpful for you? And what additional information you'd like to see in the preceding days, so that we can make sure that we include them. We're going to be here, same time, same bat channel tomorrow at 6 p.m. And Shay's going to be our guest speaker. So join me tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to stay on to answer any questions. And then after that, we'll wrap up. So I will stay on and answer any questions that anyone may have. And during this time, you guys can come off mute and ask me questions. No questions? And that's okay if there's no questions. Yes.
So I have a question. So I belong to a host agency, and a lot of things you said tonight are very true. What they tell us social media. I used to be a digital marketing person. So things that tell people I know are not correct or not in a way to really grow. But I've yet to be able to like bridge the gap for what I know about building things online and then selling travel to people like who I don't know. I come across very well when I have a live thing. I go to the library and I can sell, but I have a transitioning to the online platform. I haven't been able to figure it out. But I do great with going to the mall, renting space at the mall, talking to people. I can sell conventions, no problem. But the digital part is where I'm like dying. And I prefer to be less me physical because I have a full-time job.
Yes. So what's your question, Jordan?
So the question is, how do if your program does this, teaches us how to actually reach out on social or reach out an online way they bring clients forward. That's what I'm really interested in looking for.
Yes. So let me say, yes, the program does do that. First, the first primary focus, you're with the host agency, is we want to make sure that the business is set up properly. And make sure most people who are with the host, they just start working. They don't get the business set up. You don't identify a brand. So if you are in person, the reason why you're so good at it in person is because you've got that face to face, and your presence in and of itself is the brand, right?
Yes.
So you've got to create that same equivalent online. And I'm going to tell you, Jordan, I had a brick and mortar business before I came in the digital space, and had the same thing, had the same problem. I was like, well, I could shake hands and kiss babies all day long. If I'm in front of you, I can talk to you, I can sell ice to an Eskimo, right? But being able to do that online, really, more importantly, is it's important that you understand who it is that you're talking, and that you create a narrative around that person and what they're looking for, and create a digital sort of storefront that does the same thing that you shaking hands and kissing babies does.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I'm mostly looking for. The other stuff is pretty simple, but that's where I'm floundering.
Yep. There is a way to show up in the space, in the online space, that allows you to attract your ideal client, depending on who that may be, right? The only industries that becomes really difficult is like, marijuana industries, or, things that are sort of forbidden. But other than that, travel is like, I know somebody who specializes in 420 travel. That's a little bit harder. Algorithms don't like that, but there's even a way to do that so that you can show up, if that's your niche, if that's the type of person you want to service.
Oh my. Okay. Thank you. Then I'll just stick around.
Yeah. All right. Can you touch base a little on contracts and how to approach organizations such as churches or teams for potential clientele, and how to approach them, if that makes sense? So when you say organizations such as churches or teams, so those really require pitches. And so it's the same concept. Your ideal client is it's an organization that specializes in XYZ. They want to travel because of ABC. What is that? Why can't they do it themselves? Why don't they have somebody in-house to do it? So the ideal client, just because it's an organization, is no different than it would be if it was an individual. Does that make sense? Is that Pearly? Pearly, I think you asked that question. So what you've got to do is you've got to create a persona around the organizations that you want to make your pitches to. Does that help, Pearly? You'll have to let me know. Anybody else want to come off mute?
I have a question.
Yes.
I've set up my business, and but I'm starting to get really overwhelmed. I have my website, and then I have a Yelp page, and I'm getting a Google page set up for the SEO. And I'm starting to get people that trickle in, especially on my Yelp page. They're coming in, but because they don't send in their information, I have no way to get back to them except for the Yelp inbox. So a lot of times, if they don't send me their information and they don't keep responding to when I respond back, then I'm losing. I've just lost in like the last 2 days, like 5 leads on Yelp. And then the one lead I do have, I've been calling her. She did leave me her number, and I sent her a jot form for, to collect information, and she has not responded. And I'm like, do I go ahead and set up a trip for her, or based on what she originally said, or how? I'm not sure how to keep them engaged, basically, is my question.
So what you have is a business process issue. So your issue is you have a way to get leads, but you don't have a system to respond to those leads in a timely fashion, or a system. So for example, what you just described is a solution would be like a missed callback, a chat bot that would immediately, somebody dials the number, you don't answer, it starts sending them a text message to give them the link to the form to fill out the paper. Does that make sense? Like, so that's an operational issue that you have. So it's good that you're getting leads, but you have a start, but you don't have a B, C, D, and E that gets them to the booking. Does that make sense? So that's an
Yes.
operational issue. And so that's one of the things that we go over in Foundations is how to set up those business processes and also to have the technology to support a business process like that. So, you've got a Yelp, but you don't have anything besides you. And if you're at work, then you need something to answer you because those leads will go somewhere else.
Yeah,
And I even answer them really quickly. I'll answer them quickly, and then I just won't hear anything else back from them.
And that's
And sometimes
what I want you to
that'll happen.
I don't want you to feel any kind of way about that because that's just the nature of the numbers,
Okay.
right? So what you want to do is you want to accelerate the number of leads that you're getting, right? Some percentage of the leads aren't going to go to fruition, but you absolutely don't want them to go to fruition because you didn't respond with a process that ensures that they're trapped in your in your game as
your
soon as
web.
possible. Right, that you've got their email address, their phone number. So even if they
Right.
don't do this trip, they're now on your list and they're getting all the communications that you do to nurture people. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Yes, so I do have that list of my favorites. So Mika, you would probably love my YouTube channel. So if you go searching on my YouTube channel, you will find, I think I do have a tools list. I don't think it's updated with the ChatGPT tool or AI tools, but I feel like I just did a training on that. So Mika, I would check out my YouTube channel. Will you be teaching anything like funnels? Yes, I actually am teaching. I do have a program. So Mika, you may want to reach out to me and I can talk to you about that program. All right, perfect, perfect. Any other questions I can answer? No? Listen, ladies, we finished right on time. I will see you all tomorrow. Same, I believe there's some men on too. So ladies and gentlemen, same bat channel, same time tomorrow for day 2 of our challenge. Please, please take time to do the survey. I do look at the results. And then if you do like to get some feedback on your ideal client persona, if you put them inside of the not the Facebook group, inside of our community, Travel Boss community, I will respond. All you have to do is tag my name. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great evening. Bye.